Why not? Let's throw this up. We're gonna throw up a Fern video real quick. Been a little minute since we've seen some Fern. Scammer realizes. Hold on. Mobby. How China. Wait, this just swapped. Oh, it's the same video. This title, I swear to God, this said something different on the other screen. How China's biggest scammer got caught. Lock it.
UK police have been hunting this woman for 7 years. They're after her. But mostly, they're after her computers. Laptops that may hold the keys to unlocking the story of one of the biggest scams in Chinese history.
But what? Who still isn't finished yet? That's okay. You got time. You got time.
A cult of personality. Families torn apart. Marriages destroyed. Life savings gone forever. And at the center of it all, her.
The mastermind of a multi-billion-dollar Bitcoin fraud.
Bitcoin fraud.
This is the story of an operation run from deep within a ghost city. A daring escape, life in outrageous luxury, and dreams of ruling an entire country.
Wow. Dude, think about how oh, I think I know this. I think she stole 1.5 mil or 3, I don't remember. Well, like, think about how, like, you have to be scamming, you have to be on such a high of, like, getting away with shit to think I'm going to amass so much wealth and then rule my own country. Dude, I mean, like, what kind of, I don't know, you must think you're like a super genius to be getting away with some shit like that. That's some Dr. Evil shit.
It's 8 o'clock in the morning in the Chinese province of Sichuan. For most people, the day begins like any other. But then the ground begins to rumble, and a 7-magnitude earthquake rocks the entire region. Almost 200 people are killed.
Damn, they're gonna
More
make me
than
feel bad for
13,000 are injured.
She was like in this area or
Across
something.
18 prefectures, hundreds of thousands of homes are destroyed. News of the disaster quickly spreads around the world. Donations begin pouring in. The Chinese charity One Foundation announces that it will also accept donations in Bitcoin. Within just 2 days, the organization receives a large number of Bitcoins, between 50 and 230, depending on the source.
Huh.
In the weeks after the earthquake, Chinese state TV broadcast programs about the cryptocurrency. A program called The Mysterious Bitcoin explains what it is, how it works, and its meteoric rise in worth. China Central Television,
Where did they say this was? Did they say?
or CCTV, also airs an interview with a man who claims he made a 6-figure fortune through Bitcoin trading. He'll later become famous as China's first
I feel like I
Bitcoin
know this
billionaire.
guy.
Bitcoin has officially been
that's
around
why.
since 2009, but in China, most people are now hearing about it for the very first time. Many are fascinated, and Bitcoin quickly starts gaining traction nationwide. China's main search engine, Baidu, begins accepting it as a payment method.
Wow.
Soon after, so does the online shopping platform Taobao. Later on in 2013, 2 new Bitcoin exchanges emerge. In the months that follow, more and more people in China start buying the cryptocurrency. This sudden surge in demand pushes the global price even higher. And all the hype will turn out to be extremely convenient for one woman in particular. This is Jimian Qian. Her biography is difficult to piece together. A reconstruction is largely based on a detailed profile published by the Chinese magazine China Newsweek. Right now,
Oh, okay. I thought they were gonna make me feel bad, like she was in this tragedy and she feels like she's got to make some sort of money. It would have made me feel a little bit worse for her, but this is just she saw it on the news and is using it to her advantage. Is what it sounds like. Hold on. I mean, because like that's something even with scammers nowadays. Like some people do phone scamming. I mean, phone scamming and everything, it's awful, especially AI stuff nowadays. But some people, they're in such shit situations that doing that is like their easiest way of making income. They'll make more income doing that than doing other things. And that I can kind of understand a little bit more. This just sounds like maybe they'll tell me something different, but It sounds like she just saw the buzz about it and was like, oh, I'm gonna start scamming.
It's early 2014. Jimian Qin
2014,
is
okay.
36 years old and lives here in Tianjin, a sprawling metropolis with more than 11 million residents. The city was supposed to keep growing. There were plans for new office towers, luxury apartments, and a bustling financial district. One neighborhood was even expected to become China's new Manhattan. But construction stalls. Many buildings are left unfinished, and parts of Tianjin look abandoned. Some start calling it a ghost city. Wages are low in China, and consumer prices are rising fast. In 2014, the country loosens its business registration rules to boost the economy. Entrepreneurs can now register their companies more quickly, and they need less startup capital. The reforms lead to a massive startup boom. Across China, thousands of businesses are registered every day. But Qin is already a step ahead of everyone else. About a year ago, she and a couple of business partners founded a company, UBS International Group Limited Hong Kong. At the time, instead of a real name, she uses an alias, Li Xia. The business has partnered with a company that produces and distributes camellia oil. People in East Asia have been using it for things like skin and hair care for centuries. This is what Qian's business strategy.
If you're scamming people, at least scam rich people and not people who are living off basic incomes. Yeah. So that, and then like, okay, here's the other thing too, though. So even if it's someone that's like a little bit more well off, right? A lot of the people that get scammed are like old people. So like, it feels so much worse when it's like some old lady who is probably getting a check from the government to help pay for stuff, and then she's talking about, oh, well, you need this thing? I can use the money, the little bit of money that I have, you know, the bit of money that they send me. Now, obviously, if it's like billionaires getting scammed or whatever, fuck them, I don't care. But that's not the people that end up getting scammed is the problem.
Allegedly looks like. UBS promotes the camellia oil and advertises group tours to the partner company's camellia production sites. But to be able to actually buy the products, customers first need to purchase a membership. That costs 2,800 yuan. Members who recruit others qualify for extra benefits. It seems Qian herself is rarely seen at the office. Day-to-day operations are reportedly handled by her employees. For a while, business seems to run smoothly. But in May 2013, the Camellia Oil Company ends the partnership. And about a month later, things get worse. The company website starts malfunctioning and third-party payment accounts are frozen. A little later, Qian sends her employees a text message. "Don't worry, I'm collecting money for us." Then police raid the company's headquarters.
What?
But Qian is nowhere to be found. Since making her escape, Qian has been extremely cautious. She reportedly even avoids taking the bus to keep authorities from tracking her movements. Presumably, she'd have to show her ID when boarding public transportation. The UBS venture may have been little more than a way to experiment with different business strategies.
Bro, she
She'll
said,
go on to use
she said, I'm getting money for us, do not worry. She's already out. And all of her employees are now getting fucking raided by the police.
much of what she learned here in her later
Wow.
endeavors. And she already has a new idea.
Because it was all just a test.
One that will forever change her life and the lives of countless others. Maybe you've had an idea recently. Not one that would change countless lives,
Hold on.
or at least not one that would ruin it. Qian registers. You've been meaning to build yourself. There's a link to Emergent in the description.
yeah. I
Today's
knew that
the
was an
day.
ad.
Qian registers another company. Tianjin Lantian Gurui.
You know what? So you're leaving the building? She wasn't at the building. That's what they were saying. She's almost never there. It's her employees. So she had like a manager or something. They're doing the day-to-day, and she's just the CEO, right? Which, to be fair, not super suspicious. There's a lot of CEOs that are like never in the office. There's some that are always in the office, but like, yeah. She was probably sitting back somewhere taking a cut, and then only when like really big things happen, like with the partner or something, she'll come in.
Electronic technology. It's widely known as Lantian Gurui, which means blue sky. Qian seems to know exactly what she wants to sell, and to whom. China's home to roughly 200 million elderly people. About 1 in 6 citizens is over 60, and many of them are lonely.
Start scamming old people.
In the past, families often had several children. Siblings could share the responsibility of caring for their parents and grandparents. But in 1979, China introduced a one-child policy to help curb its rapid population growth. From that point forward, fewer children were born. Most parents had just one child, who often had to care for the family's older generations on their own. At the same time, more and more younger people left their hometowns to study or work in major cities. As a result, many elderly people were left to live alone. In 2013, the government responded by introducing a new law. Adult children are now legally required to visit their parents frequently and be attentive to their
Legally
emotional
required.
needs. For Qin, elderly people
You're
are the
legally
perfect target.
required.
She seems to understand exactly how to exploit their loneliness.
One family in Japan had like 7 children, and that's crazy. That's not even crazy. I mean, 7 child. There's just like average families here and where I live that have 7 children. Now, is it like? It's not like everybody, obviously. 7 children's a lot, but like when I think of crazy numbers now, I'm thinking about like what's the name of that show? Like 23 and Counting. It was like the family that had like 23 kids or something, and they were still having more kids as the show went on. That's when I get into like, holy shit. I mean, 7's a lot too, obviously. But if I saw like a story about 7 kids, I'd be like, I know like 5 different families that have 7 kids. As opposed to something like that. That's when I'm like, holy shit.
And their anxieties. Step by
I
step,
think it's 23
she
and
begins
counting.
building a
Something like
manipulative
that.
business
21 and counting.
empire. Step 1. The front. Qin's company sells a range of health products. One is the Life Bracelet. It has an integrated GPS tracking chip.
Shit like that, absolute scam. Absolute scam. Just saying it now. Huh, not shocking that she sells that stuff.
So whoever wears it can supposedly be located within 15 meters of their current position. In an emergency, an elderly person just has to press the red button and an ambulance
never
will be
mind.
with them within 10
Never
minutes.
mind. That's something
The
different.
product taps directly into one of older people's biggest fears, being alone and helpless during a medical emergency.
Never
that
mind. That's
helps
like
build
life
trust
alert. I
in
was
Jen
thinking it
and
was
her
like those
company.
like monitor things.
And if you trust a company with your health, you may eventually trust it with your savings too. Step 2. The plan. Qian isn't really trying to sell health products. To push her actual business model, she hires promoters all across China. Qian claims that Lantian Gure is mining Bitcoin, that it's setting up high-powered Bitcoin mines all across China to generate more crypto units. And for that, she needs money.
Yo.
Step 3. The promise. Qian is looking for investors. She probably
Investors.
uses WeChat to advertise and close deals. Apparently, investors can choose from special financial packages. These reportedly range from 30,000 to 60,000 yuan, or roughly $4,200 to $8,400.
All right, that's not bad.
The terms range from 12 to 30 months. Often, the funds aren't wired to Qian's firm directly. Instead, investors first transfer them to local promoters advertising the service, who then pass it on to Qian.
Investors, yeah.
In return, she promises them daily dividends and a 200 to 600% profit for each contract. Qian and her company seem to have been selling the idea of collective prosperity. Invest for just 3 years and you'll be able to secure the financial future of the next 3 generations of your family. Step 4. The scheme. Qian skillfully rides the wave of Bitcoin frenzy. It helps that many of her investors aren't very financially literate. Her company produces glossy promotional videos promising a life of wealth and luxury in the United Kingdom, a country that carries a certain prestige in China.
Oh, I guess that makes sense. I never thought about it, but yeah.
On her
Great
blog,
Britain.
Qian posts poems about social responsibility. We must love the elderly with the infatuation.
Especially compare. I didn't think about that because China. Not to say that like China doesn't like the U.S. because that's very like a big generalization, but I think because the Chinese government doesn't really, the Chinese government and the American government has always been kind of iffy with each other. And even when we kind of do say like we're on good terms, I feel like both countries are still trying to like not infiltrate. Like espionage is still happening, even in those times of like, yeah, everything's fine between our countries. I feel like a lot of U.S. officials also don't actually trust China. I mean, obviously, like with Trump and stuff like that, it's like, oh, dude, dude does not trust China in the slightest. But whatever. Where was I going with this? There was something that was just brought up that the UK. Yeah, so like obviously they're not gonna think of like the USA as like this prestigious place, but like British people, just them in general, the accent, their culture, the architecture and everything, I could see that being like as a more like it was a more like privileged place to go.
Situation of a first romance. Poetry has always been an important part of Chinese traditional culture. Poems are meant to entertain and convey values like respect, family duty, and social order. Maybe that's why Qian's vision resonates with so many people. She also emphasizes that her company would help further China's goal of becoming a global leader in technology. She even claims that she'll one day donate the company to the Chinese government.
Yeah, exactly.
Her patriotic message lands with investors. But one investor will later claim she deliberately exploited the patriotism of older Chinese citizens. In reality, she went much further than that.
Yeah.
It's autumn in Beijing. More than 1,000 people have gathered here today. Many have already invested in Qian's company, Lantian Gure. Others are still considering it. But all of them are here to see the woman behind the business. So far, they know almost nothing about her.
Is she still going by a fake name at this point? Because it's got to be like a different fake name from when she was on the last company. She put a real name out there?
Only that she reportedly holds a PhD in mathematics and cryptography.
No, she does not. I can tell you right now, she probably doesn't even have a degree.
And that she works so hard she barely has time to sleep. Qian rarely appears in public. She almost exclusively communicates through the poems she posts on her blog.
Poems?
There are barely any photos of her, and in most of them, her face is partially concealed.
Wow.
Even today, she's wearing a veil. Nobody here knows her real name. Her investors call her Hua Hua, or Little Flower. Qian enters in a wheelchair. Her investors lift her above their heads and carry her toward the stage.
In a
They're
wheelchair?
chanting the company's promise, 3 generations of wealth. Events like this happen regularly, usually inside large, prestigious halls. Attendants usually aren't allowed to bring their phones or take photos or video. Maybe because Qian wants to remain anonymous. After all, she's been trying to stay under the radar ever since fleeing Hefei. The gatherings are massive.
Oh yeah, she's there!
There are dance performances, presentations, and speeches praising and vouching for the company.
This is one of those things that
One
she's like
speaker
kind of
is the
needs to show up
son-in-law
for.
of Mao Zedong, the late founding father of the People's Republic. Mao remains a deeply respected figure in China, especially among older generations.
Balls of
The
steel,
atmosphere at
yeah.
these promotional events is frenetic. One investor will later tell The Observer that people were captivated by Qian as soon as she opened her mouth. After her speeches, people would battle their way to the front with their credit cards ready.
Damn. So this is like, do you know what this is reminds me of? And I know this is a bad comparison, but like the way she's like a silver tongue, right? It's like when Hitler took power in like Austria or whatever. Or he's an Austrian patriot, but like Germany, when he took over Germany and became like a dictator and everything, people were still captivated by him and gave into him because of how like passionate and well spoken he was. One mistake and it's all over. Yeah, so this is exactly like she's doing that same thing. She's a silver tongue. She's got them all worked up about it, and in reality, she's just scamming the fuck out of
Another
everybody.
investor says, that bunch of promoters, they'd take something red and persuade you it was white, take something black and convince you it was red. Apparently, there were also private meetings with Qian. Those who invested more than $800,000 were reportedly invited to more intimate events. One attendee says everyone in the room was starstruck. They saw her as their goddess of wealth.
That's so crazy.
Over time, more and more people pour money into
I also wonder though why, because like at that point, did she already have like a shit ton of money? Like I understand she was the CEO of this company, but it felt more like a shell company. So like I guess she was already getting investments and stuff, so she was already giving that appearance of wealth. I don't know how much
Qian's
she'd actually
growing business
accumulated
empire.
at that point, though.
Public servants, school teachers, widows, and retirees. They're all hoping crypto will turn their modest life savings into a fortune.
She's
Most are between 50 and 75
That's
years
what I'm
old.
saying. That's what I'm talking about. She's using old people that don't understand. If I was here, once I reached 1 mil, I'm quitting. No, you couldn't. Because if you're doing something like this, 1 mil's not going to like satisfy you. You're going to get 1 mil. And I bet you this is the exact same thing that happened to her, right? Is you set a goal like that, you reach 1 mil, then you're like, oh my God, like I'm on top of the world. No one can touch me. The government doesn't even realize what I'm doing. Or if maybe you're not even doing something you think it's like the government would be on to you about it, but like people don't realize that I'm scamming them. I can go higher, right? Because it's like what's that game? They do it in it's the rocket game in the casinos. What's it called? Like Fly High or something like that. The if you've ever played or if you've ever seen anybody play Gamble with your friends, it's the once you get to like the second tier of the casino and you unlock or it's potentially it will show up for you where you can do the little rocket game where it goes up and 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 you stop it before it crashes. Yeah, green knows no bounds. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like you see that number going up, and it's still skyrocketing. You hit $1 million, and you're getting more people and trying to invest. You're taking that money because, like, let's be honest, right? Like, now if you hit like $1 billion, that's different. If you had $1 billion after scamming a whole bunch of people, I'd be like, oh, I'm good. Like maybe then I would start investing into real businesses or starting something that's like an actual real business at that point. Yeah. And gamble with your friends where you can sell your body parts. So you know how you start off, you're like the very first day, I think it's the first 2 days or whatever, you're in the standard casino floor, and then on day like 3 or 4, it unlocks the next floor that you can go to. And then when you unlock the next floor, you have new games that show up. So they have like the penguin game where you're jumping across the ice blocks. That's a good one too. But in that casino game, it's like the rocket game, whatever. You see the rocket going up and up and up and up and up, and then you stop. You got to get out before the rocket crashes, right? But yeah. That I am talking about that game though. That's nuts though.
By 2017, Chen has attracted more than 128,000 investors across China and collected more than 40 billion yuan, roughly $6.1 billion.
40 billion won! Oh my God. She's already way past $1 million. 40 billion won is like, I mean, yeah, he's showing right there, 6 million. Yeah, so she's already $5,100,000. Is that right? Wait, what am I looking at? No. Wait, what?
And collected more than 40 billion yuan, roughly $6.1 billion.
6.1 billion! 6.1 billion! That's, oh my God, that's so much higher than what we were just talking about. Oh. So at this point in 2016, she's at $6.1 billion from scamming people.
But she hasn't been keeping her promise to use their money to create new crypto tokens in her mining farms.
Of course she's not.
Back in 2014, she used an associate's name to open an account in the Huobi cryptocurrency exchange, which today is called HTX, and she transferred investors' money into that account, exchanging it for Bitcoin. At first, her investors receive exactly what they were promised: daily dividends. Anyone who recruits friends or relatives gets even more. One investor would tell the BBC he and his wife were receiving 100 yuan a day, roughly $14. They were so hooked, they directly reinvested this into the company and kept borrowing to invest more on top of it. They didn't know that these payouts weren't actually coming from crypto profits. They were funded by new investors. It was a classic Ponzi scheme.
Yep.
And it only worked as long as new investors kept pouring in new money.
But that's the thing, is she's getting new investors because she's so... The silver tongue, she's literally paying off other people that have already invested with the new investors' money, and it's stockpiling until a point where you stop getting new investors, and then it's like, oh, well, we can't pay out.
One investor would later say he never suspected a thing.
Yep.
After a few years of this, some investors were invited to visit the company's Bitcoin mines, and the trip inspired some of them to invest even more money. Hundreds of investors have traveled from Shenyang and other cities to Tianjin. The outskirts of the city are lined.
I'll give her credit here because I was talking about it like she's just some random person in the beginning too. I will give credit where credit is due. She is not, because it's hard. I cannot believe this is some Eisen level shit. Yeah, dude, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I have to give credit where credit's due. She's not just convincing, like a couple, like 3 or 4 people that are like below her, like, oh, this is real. She's convincing like thousands and thousands and thousands of people like that this is legitimate, and then playing it off in a way that makes it feel like, for those investors that are in there already, that it is working and is legitimate. Oh, this is worse than the honey scam.
With warehouse after warehouse. One was built on a vacant lot. On the front is the slogan, Tianjin Blue Sky Gure Bitcoin Warehouse. This must be it. But when the investors go
The
inside,
entire state, yeah, exactly.
none of the mining machines are working. An employee tells them the company intentionally turned them off to avoid exposing them to radiation. Most of the investors don't question.
Sorry, we turned it all off because you guys were showing up. We didn't want you to be exposed to high levels of radiation. Radiation? Radiation? From a Bitcoin mining facility? You're telling me a server room is supposed to be giving me... Here we go. I'll go. Sorry. I'll go back to the screen there for you. They said that they turned it off. Here, we'll run it back. We'll run it back for you.
None of the mining machines are working. An employee tells them the company intentionally turned them off to avoid exposing them to radiation. Most of the investors don't question the explanation. One even leaves the site visit so convinced she decides to invest significantly more money. It's only years later that some investors begin to suspect the machines they saw were actually worthless junk. According to reports, they were eventually sold as scrap for 30 yuan apiece.
Wow.
For 3 years, Qian's operation appears to run smoothly. New investors keep joining, and their money funds payouts for existing members.
Bro, if there's radiation, the FBI would have been on y'all's ass. Well, you don't have FBI. FBI wouldn't be anywhere near that. I don't know. What's the Chinese equivalent to the FBI? Not even the FBI. It would be more like, if it was radiation, it would be some sort of like health thing with the state, I would assume. What's like, I was going to say FDA, but that's like food related stuff. Just like some sort of health organization, I would think. I don't know.
But in 2017...
Well, here's the thing though. It's a shell. Like, she doesn't have to worry about that, because at the end of the day, all she needs to do is have the warehouse look legitimate enough with the equipment inside of it for the investors to show up, tell them, hey, sorry, we turned it off so you guys wouldn't get sick from radiation. And then they sell all the shit like they did. It's never reported to anybody. So there's nothing, nothing about radiation is getting reported to anybody.
Chinese authorities finally get
real.
suspicious and launch an investigation. The Bitcoin hype is reaching fever pitch, at least among the Chinese public. By now, the country has become one of the largest cryptocurrency markets in the world. But Bitcoin and other digital currencies are also used for criminal activities like money laundering, drug trafficking, and smuggling. They're a risk to financial stability.
Also, I just want to put this out here too. Fern does such a good... The channel Fern does such a good... they're about to find out? Yeah. Oh, they're on her ass now. The Fern channel does such a good job, though, not only just with the animations, they've done them for years and they've only gotten better and better, but the music as well, like that background music that they got going on, it's got me hyped for everything. I'm sorry, I keep pausing.
And they undermine government control over the fiscal system. So Chinese authorities want to crack down on them. They plan to tighten control over Bitcoin mining and trading. From there, they start closing in on Qian's company. Today, the authorities strike a coordinated blow. Raids take place across Tianjin. Lan Tiangure's employees are rounded up, but there's no trace of their boss.
Baddie? Baddie alert? Not
Qian
her.
has likely been preparing her escape for months. She purchased several forged passports, including one from a Caribbean microstate, and is traveling under a new alias, Yadi Zhang.
Oh!
She also transferred her bitcoins from the Huobi exchange into several private crypto wallets.
Of course.
The wallets are stored locally on her laptop. But as with any cryptocurrency, they don't contain the actual bitcoins, just the digital keys needed to prove ownership and access them. At this point, Qian's wallets hold about 70,000 bitcoins. At the time, they're worth almost $400 million.
Oh my god.
It remains unclear whether Qian knew the raid was coming, and if she did, who might have tipped her off.
One thing I'm also curious about that they didn't mention, maybe they'll mention this later on, but she said that she had this PhD in math and some other like degree or something as well. I'm wondering if they're going to touch on that again because I want to know if she has any form of higher education now. I don't. I'm not saying that, like I'm not saying that you need it to do what she to run a business and everything. Obviously, I don't think you do. I think there's times where higher education it varies person by person how helpful it's going to be for them and what you want to do, right? But so not to say that you need to have had that to make a company like the one she's making, a legitimate company like the one she was falsely making, but I'm curious to see if that was just a flat out lie or not.
Maybe she bribed a corrupt official. Either way, she's on the run for several months, apparently moving from China to Myanmar, Thailand, Laos, and Malaysia. According to London's Metropolitan Police, she eventually boards a first-class flight from Kuala Lumpur to London. On September 16, 2017, she arrives at Heathrow Airport. She isn't carrying any luggage or her laptop. She moves into a mansion in London's affluent Hampstead neighborhood. The rent is more than £17,000 a month.
Oh!
She also opens an
£17,000. What does that convert to USD? Let me see. 17,000 pounds to dollars. Almost $30,000. She's paying almost $30,000 a month for the place that she's staying at. What?
Account with Harrods, one of the world's most exclusive department stores. Over the following months, an account. The rent is more than £17,000 a month. She also opens an account with Harrods, one of the world's most exclusive department stores. Over the following months, she spends more than £90,000 on designer jewelry and clothing. She travels across Europe.
I'm about to shit my pants. $124,000 on shopping from her mansion.
But she carefully avoids countries that have extradition treaties with China.
That's also $124,000 over that time period, while also paying $30,000 a month.
She keeps attracting people and getting them to break the law for her. Just a few weeks after arriving in London, Chen meets a woman named Jian Wen. Wen is 37 and works at a Chinese takeaway. The two get along well.
Yeah.
Before long, Wen moves into Chen's mansion. Officially, she's Chen's caretaker. In reality, she also becomes her trusted accomplice. For example, Chen sends her to Thailand to retrieve the laptop she abandoned on her way to the UK. Once Chen can access her bitcoins again, the two start spending some serious money.
They would just message
That wasn't serious money already? What do you mean serious money?
about like going to buy jewelry, right? Like, we've had a stressful day. They didn't really say that, but like, once we're done with this, let's cash out the Bitcoin, let's go to Jewelry Street, right? And then the other message was like, obsessed with jewelry.
This is Aisha Down, a journalist with The Guardian. She investigated the story. Wen will later tell the courts that Chen spent most of her time in bed, playing video games and shopping online. As Bitcoin's value keeps rocketing, she seems to be achieving what she once promised her clients, getting rich lying down. She isn't afraid to dream big either. In her diary, she documents her bold plans for the years to come.
And honestly, here's the other thing too. Yes, does it sound nice to sit around all day and just play video games while making money? She's probably, and I don't mean this in a mean way, that's probably because I've done this. I've put on weight. I'm the biggest I've ever been in my life. I'm like 205, right? But I'm like the biggest I've ever been in my life because of doing something similar when I was just like streaming all day, every day. And even before that, I just don't see, sorry, I think my headset's dying. Holy. I don't see myself like getting that amount of wealth and then just sitting around all day. I guess also part of it is the fact that she's like probably terrified to leave her residence because they are hunting her actively. But I mean, obviously, she's not trying to hide too well if she's spending that kind of money all from that address. I don't know. I mean, obviously, she's doing something well to hide, but I'm surprised some hating ass dude come and sniped her. Yet this was around, but this is in around 20. Yeah, so this right now we're in 2017. But you're right, yeah, around 2016.
Qian wants to found her own bank, buy a castle in Sweden, and build a relationship with a British duke. She also dreams of becoming Queen of Liberland, a small stretch of land between Croatia and
What?
Serbia right along the Danube River.
Queen?
The territory isn't officially recognized as a micronation, but its inhabitants consider it an independent republic with democratic elections. Qian has ambitious
Yeah, democratic elections. How the fuck is she gonna be the queen of Liberland and then what? Like overthrow, stay in power? Do some dictator level shit?
plans for the 7
Oh
square
my
kilometer region. She wants to build a harbor, an airport, and the world's largest Buddhist temple.
Okay, maybe with the kind of funding she's bringing in. Yeah, these are enormous goals. Could you imagine being on the run from your country? Say you left, I don't know where you live at, but I live obviously in the United States. Imagine being on the run from the United States government and being like, you know what? I'm going to invest billions of dollars into this area and become the leader of this region. What?
In Liberland, Qian would find herself among like-minded people. Its self-proclaimed prime minister is the controversial crypto billionaire Justin Sun, who founded his
Everything's coming together. Never mind. I take it all
own
back.
blockchain network. He also controls the Huobi crypto exchange, where Qian
But
used to store
That's
her bitcoins. In her imagination, becoming a monarch will entitle her to a diplomatic passport and immunity from prosecution. She even sets aside a budget of £5 million to buy herself a crown and scepter. The sky's the limit. She also dreams of the Dalai Lama anointing her a reincarnated goddess.
bro. How fucking delusional do you have to be? A reincarnated goddess? Bro. Like ancient Egyptian level shit of like the person in power, the king is like, you know, the pharaoh is either descendant from or a avatar of like an Egyptian god. That's kind of what she's doing right now. Bro, ain't no way. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. Ain't no
But
way.
for now, Qian is still here in London, living in a rented house. Among other things, she claims to run a successful jewelry business. To fund her lifestyle, she converts
Stop this
bitcoins to
woman
regular
right now,
currency,
yeah.
but large deposits would probably make her bank suspicious. So she has to conceal where the money really comes from. In other words, she needs to launder it. And one of the oldest tricks in the book is real estate. So she plans to buy expensive properties to turn her dirty money into seemingly legitimate assets. Qian and Wen start looking for the right London luxury home. They make 3 attempts to buy multi-million-pound properties.
God
The most expensive
damn.
is listed at
Dude, look at this place. I know it's kind of a shitty picture just because of the texture they have over it too. But you can tell, I mean, this is like a library in the back here. Oh my god. Like look, could you imagine? This place is gorgeous.
23.5 million. But their efforts are hampered by their difficulties converting enough bitcoins into cash, and by British anti-money laundering regulations and their so-called know your customer questions. Questions like these are designed to detect money laundering schemes. The first round of scrutiny often comes from the
Wait. Let me see some of these. Sorry.
These are designed to detect money laundering schemes.
Which account does the money for this purchase come from? Can you provide bank statements for the past 12 months? How did you accumulate your capital? Did you invest in cryptocurrencies? If yes, please provide a complete wallet to bank transaction history. Wow.
The first
So
round of
okay, so how does she get around this too? I know they're about to tell me. I'm asking, but this is stall press. Like, how in the world? These are just questions they're asking. There's probably ways to fake this or get around it. But like, I feel like they have to be confirming this as well,
scrutiny
right?
often comes from the real estate agent.
That last one as well, the complete transaction history between crypto wallet and crypto wallet and the bank. I like that.
The second from the bank. Apparently, Wen's answers to these questions are unconvincing. and realtors and lawyers reject her bids to buy the properties.
Right.
Shortly after, London's Metropolitan Police are tipped off about a suspicious bank account. The money in it
I was about to say, oh, from
is
just
believed to come from criminal activity. The officers decide to take a closer look. Once they have the necessary court orders, they gain access to the account.
Damn, could you imagine that? You feel like you're getting away with everything, and then your bank account comes up in question. Not even like, oh, this like transaction or anything. They just found the bank account and they're like, what? Where's this money coming from?
And their suspicion grows. With reasonable grounds to suspect that the money is dirty, they freeze the account. They also send an email to the account holder. It's
When?
Oh. By now, investigators are closing in on her. They know where she lives. They're just waiting for a search warrant.
No.
When they finally enter the house, they find
That's the
two
house!
people, Wen and an unknown woman. Lying in bed, she claims her name is Yeri Zhang. The officers have no idea who they're really talking to.
So you don't normally live here?
Yeah.
And where are you from? Where is your country?
Shungi's anyways.
What? Where the fuck is that? As long as they get the authority, they can open your entire digital footprint. Oh, yeah.
I think they believed that she was a sick relative and not the mastermind of a multi-billion-dollar.
Yeah, because they're there for when? They're there for her subordinate. Bro. And she's not going to sell her out. She's getting like billions of dollars, potentially, for helping this lady. Bro.
Bitcoin fraud.
As they raid the house, the officers find 300,000 pounds in cash and checks.
Oh.
They also seize laptops, memory cards, and a large amount of paperwork. But for the time being, neither of the women is arrested. The police search the confiscated computers and find that they contain several crypto wallets. But accessing the wallets and the cryptocurrency they contain requires the correct encryption
Yeah,
keys.
you're not going to be able to get that.
In the course of their investigation, the Metropolitan Police eventually obtain them. They find over
They got it?
71,000 bitcoins stored in 7 wallets. It's the largest bitcoin seizure in British history, but it isn't Chin's entire fortune. In August 2020, police returned to her house for a second raid, but this time, she isn't there. She's gone missing again.
When was the last time you spoke to her?
A few months ago.
If she had been here today, I would have arrested her.
This time, there's just Wen. The investigation takes its course, and 2 years later, she's arrested and charged with money laundering. In 2024, she's sentenced to 6 years and 8 months in prison. After parting ways with Wen, the fugitive Qin moves into an inconspicuous townhouse in York. Several employees work for her illegally, taking care of her everyday needs. Everyone in the house has to follow a strict set of rules. The staff isn't allowed to use Bluetooth or phones from Chinese brands. They're limited to only
no
certain
Huawei.
social media platforms. They can't disclose the house's address or even log into its Wi-Fi network. And they're strictly forbidden from taking photos or videos of Qin. All these requirements are neatly laid out in confidentiality agreements later obtained by the Metropolitan Police. Anyone who breaks the rules faces hefty financial penalties and will be fired on the spot.
A fine of what? $10,000 USD. Bro. And also, so you, not only are you immediately getting fired, but then you owe $10,000. Could you imagine that? Could you imagine someone firing you and being like, also give me 10K?
The rules faces hefty financial penalties
Hell
and will be fired on the spot. At some point, Qin also seeks the help of a Malaysian national named Seng Hock Ling. According to Ling himself, the two first met in Germany in 2019. He'll later testify he believed Qin was a legitimate
It's
businesswoman.
2019, so we're after
But
2019.
Qin plans to
Probably
use him to
2020.
once again launder money. British authorities have seized most of her bitcoins, but she still controls other crypto wallets worth around £62 million. She gives Ling money to purchase properties in Dubai in her behalf. But Ling is
Damn.
closely following Wen's criminal trial. By now, he knows that both women have been involved in criminal activity, and maybe he's beginning to realize that he's much more involved in their schemes than he'd like. One day, he starts Googling February 2024. For 6 years, Metropolitan Police investigators have been monitoring Qin's crypto wallets.
2024.
The bitcoins inside them are now worth roughly £1.5 billion. In all these years,
God.
there hasn't been a single transaction, no indication that Qin has touched her fortune. Until now. She just transferred 8.2 bitcoins to another exchange account. The account is registered in Ling's name, and the investigators embark on a manhunt.
Yeah, immediately.
They
There's
want to
already
know whether
tracking...
Ling and Qin are in touch.
Bro.
The trail leads them to Scotland and northern England. Then one day, Qin suddenly appears on surveillance cameras. By now, they're convinced Ling is working for her. They could move in right now, but there can't be any loose ends this time.
Oh.
They need airtight proof that Qin's bitcoins are tied directly to the fraud case in China. They want
Bro,
to
what's she doing also all this time she's been hiding? And then she walks right in front of a security camera going... Not covering her face, just going on the sides of her. Like, what is this doing? What was that little maneuver doing? Bro.
know for sure where exactly
Crazy.
the bitcoins came from. A blockchain specialist helps them follow the money through its transaction history to see who received the bitcoins when. Chinese authorities provide them with a list of bank accounts connected to the scam. The investors Qin deceived are said to have deposited money into 294 different Chinese bank accounts. They received payouts from 48 different accounts. With that information, investigators re-examine the electronic devices they seized in their first raid. And voila, many of the account numbers provided by the Chinese authorities also appear on the confiscated laptops. Now the connection is clear, and Qin is directly linked to the fraud in China. At last, a judge gives the Metropolitan Police the green light.
Oh, yeah, they're gonna go get her ass.
Qin hears something. There's someone inside the house. Moments later, someone kicks in the door to her room.
Honey,
After 7 years
Oh,
on the
that's
run,
her!
they finally found her.
you're under arrest. You're going to be arrested for money laundering, Section 329 Proceeds of Crime Act.
And this time, there's nowhere left to go.
Bro, yeah, she's like dumbfounded. She doesn't know what to
Qin
do.
and Ling's trial ends
She's in a
today.
box!
The hearing is public, but the courtroom is so small that only a handful of people fit inside.
I sat on the floor at one point. There wasn't a lot of room.
Aisha is one of the few
Oh, she was there.
journalists in the room. She followed the last days of the trial for The Guardian.
It was just a fairly sober atmosphere.
Qin sits inside a glass dock. From the public gallery, it's difficult to get a good look at her. Throughout the proceedings, she doesn't say a word. Everything she wants to say, she communicates through her lawyer. She remained largely silent when the police questioned her, too. Her only statement
Yeah,
was that she was
you
the
better.
victim of false allegations made by the Chinese authorities. She also felt that she would die soon, and that this had been her last chance to spend some money.
The thing I noticed was that the defense's statements really didn't land at all. And the defense sort of spoke briefly in the last day of the proceedings, you know, talking about how their client had been a model prisoner.
Qin's lawyer later claims that
Model
she and her
prisoner.
company only ever wanted to help people accumulate wealth. But the reality is different. Some of her investors ended up in poverty. One tells the BBC that he sometimes
Oh yeah, we got you on trial for what was it, billions of pounds worth of money laundering, and well, what's your defense for that? Huh. People of the court, my client has been nothing but a model prisoner. What? Huh?
had so little money left he would have to survive on a single pack of instant noodles for 15 days.
Wait,
For
what?
little some of her investors ended up in poverty. One tells the BBC that he sometimes had so little money left he would have to survive on a single pack of instant noodles for 15 days.
The share of the
Another
wealth,
says
really.
Qin's scheme destroyed his marriage and led to him being estranged from his son. Others say they
Dude,
contemplated suicide.
That's horrible.
Ling is sentenced to 4
Dude,
years
could
in
you
a
imagine? I would be so pissed. That ruined your whole life. Your wife leaves. You don't get to talk to your son anymore because you got scammed. And it's not just you, though. Like, so many other people got scammed, too.
11 months in prison.
That's crazy.
Qian gets 11 years and 8 months.
It
Oh.
seemed like, from my impression of her, that she maybe had hoped things would go a little differently. She burst into tears. Or
Well,
it looked like she was
fucking
bursting
yeah.
into tears. It looked like she was upset by the verdict.
After the ruling,
She thought nothing
Qin's
could
lawyer
touch her, and then all
emails
of a sudden she
statement
got
to the
11
press.
years.
Bitcoin pioneer Ms. Qin, once the world's largest female BTC holder, accepts her conviction and the mistakes that led to it. Many of her former investors feel betrayed, and some demand compensation. In China, some investors appeal to the Supreme People's Court, the State Council, and other national institutions.
But what are they
Not
going
to
to do?
condemn Qin's actions, but to ask for an explanation as to why her company was shut down. One still sees Qin as the goddess of the crypto world. He would die for her, and he wishes she'd return. We tried to speak to some of the investors for this video, but almost everyone we contacted turned down our interview requests. Only one woman agreed to talk, but she had a condition. We had to promise that we'd help her get her money back.
That's
Apparently, a few people
that's
did.
tough.
This article says Chinese authorities used confiscated assets from Qin.
Oh, and obviously they didn't do it because, I mean, they can't. I'm assuming that they don't have that interview because, I mean, how are they supposed to promise, like, yeah, we'll help you get your money back?
Qin's company to compensate some former investors.
That's also desperate as fuck, though. Could you imagine? It's been like years since you've been scammed out of like so much money. And then, yeah, there's people so. Oh, that's the other thing. Two things. It's been years. I'll touch on that too. There's been years since this happened. You feel scammed, and someone reaches out to you about the incident and wanting to have your part of the story being shared. And you're so desperate to get the money back that you're like, some random YouTube channel is reaching out to talk to you, and you're like, yes, but help me get my money. Also, how much money? You know what I mean? Like, at that point, I wonder how much money that person in particular had lost on it.
They received a small
Oh, and then the other thing too. Yes, people were so devoted, they are defending her. That person believes she is the goddess of Bitcoin and is like, where is my supreme leader at this point, really? A supreme leader, you know, is not the correct term, probably, but like, I revere this person. Oh my
percentage
God.
of the money they put in. But it remains unclear whether all the victims in China will ever recover
I think I'm
their
using that term
investments.
correctly. I might not.
First, they have to
Correct me if
prove
I'm
that they
wrong.
actually invested in Qin's company. And that may be difficult since many deposits weren't sent directly to her, but to
Yeah,
the
it's like
accounts of local
filtered, so
promoters
it's like, how
operating
do
on her
you-
behalf.
Yeah.
For now, the seized assets remain frozen in the UK. British
Dude,
law
that sucks. To confirm, you have to confirm that you paid money to her, but then no money was actually paid out to her. They'd have to confirm that it's one of the people that was like promoting her stuff that you paid. So like if that person had
classifies them as
dude.
recoverable amounts, meaning authorities must first determine whether victims are really entitled to compensation.
Right.
Only then can the state touch the money. Decisions on the applications are expected later on in 2026. Who knows? Maybe some of Qin's investors
Dude, they
will
still
get
even
rich
have damn.
after all.
Damn, that wife leaving though. Whoa. That's insane. Oh my god, W Fern video, dude. Oh my gosh, that's getting a like. I'm already subscribed to Fern, but do I not have the all notifications, please? We're gonna like that one. Wow, what a good video, dude. What a good video. Okay. Two things. Real quick, before we get too deep into everything else. I am going to run to the bathroom real quick, and then we are transitioning. So, if this is going up, if you're seeing this on YouTube at this point too, we're about to end this. The stream's still going, but this will be the end of this video, and then you should also see, hopefully, around the same time, if not out yet, we'll do the first of the Minecraft videos, which is going to be what we're about to stream right freaking now. Right now. So,